Good day, grade 11s. Today we are going to look at problem solving in quadratic number patterns. Okay, so what happens here is that you are told that a given number pattern is quadratic, and then there are some missing terms that you have to find. Okay, so let's look at this example. It says here, given that the number pattern below is quadratic, it has a constant second difference of 2. Find x and y. So the question would look like this, and as you can see, there's an x here, there's a y. So that means these are missing terms that you must find. Okay, so how do we do that? The procedure is just as normal as what we did yesterday. You have to find the first and the second difference. But now you are not going to get numbers, you will have expressions because of the letters. Okay, so that's what I did. Remember, the difference is always the front minus the back one, so it is x minus 4. Please don't forget, it's this one minus that, this minus that, this minus that, this minus that, and that gives us the first difference. So 20 minus y, like that. Okay, then to find the second difference, now we subtract this one from that one. So again, it is the front one minus the back one. So and as you can see, I've kept it in brackets because this represents one number. So before you start thinking this is two different numbers, this is one number. That's why I've kept it in a bracket. Please do so as well. You keep it in a bracket. As soon as you find the first difference, you write it in a bracket. Okay, then we find the second difference. So it is going to be this bracket minus that bracket. So it is 8 minus x minus x minus 4. Now you see, if I don't use brackets, this minus will only affect the x and not this minus 4. So this is why you have to keep it in a bracket, so that this minus affects everything that is inside the bracket. Please be careful there, because if you mess this up, then it messes your whole question. And sometimes there are questions that follow after finding x and y. Okay, so I did the same also here. Y minus 8 minus that bracket, and then the last one is this bracket minus that bracket, which gives me that. Now we are told that it is quadratic, so that means the second differences are the same. Again, this is a very important concept to remember, that every time the constant difference, the differences at the second difference is always going to be equal if we are told that it is quadratic. So this equal sign will be added whenever we are told that it is quadratic. So we know that this number will be equal to that number, which is equal to that number. Even if we don't know what that number is, we can then solve the equation that comes out of there. So it is very important that you remember that the second difference, if the number pattern is quadratic, the second difference is equal all the time. All right, so now an additional information is that we are told that the second difference is 2. So that means each one of this one is equal to 2, this one is equal to 2, and this one is equal to 2. So that is what I did here. So the first one gives me x is equals to 5, and then if you check here, this one has both x and y. You can solve it by first substituting the x that you have calculated to then find y, but I've jumped this one and I came here because it's only an equation in y. So I solved this equation. Again, be careful when you open up the bracket. Minus y, and then minus makes positive 8. Okay, so the bracket then when it opens up, then it gives us y, which is equals to 13. Then you can rewrite the number pattern. So now instead of having 4x, 8, y, and 20, you can then have 4, 5, 8, 13, and 20. So that's the number pattern. Now, if the number pattern is there, then you can answer any question that follows. Like in this case, the next question was, which term is equals to 125 of this? So they are actually sending us to find what? To find Tn. So we have to find Tn from this and then use that Tn to work backwards to find the position of 125. So this side, that's what I did. I calculated, first did my first difference. So my first difference is 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then did my second difference, which is 2, 2, 2. As it is stated, vele la. Go to the second difference is 2. So it means our calculations vele are correct. Okay, then you solve. Remember, when we solve this one, the 2 is equals to 2a. We always start at the bottom. So 2 is equals to 2a. And then 1 is going to be equals to 3a plus b. So ihamba kanjalo nje. So this is equals to 2a. This one is equals to 2a. This one is equals to 3a plus b. And then that is equals to a plus b plus 10. Okay, so that's what I did to solve for a, b, and c. And then remember, when we mark a, we mark b, we mark c, and we mark the final equation. So this will be out of 4 in your case. Okay, so the general equation is n squared minus 2n plus 5. Then you use that equation to substitute the 125, and then you work backwards. So remember, I said at this point you can either use the quadratic formula, or you can use the quadratic formula, or you can factorize. So I chose to factorize. Factors of 120 that add up to negative 2. It's negative 120 that add up to negative 2. It's going to be negative 12 and 10, which then gives me n, which is equals to 10, or n, which is equals to negative 10. So this one we disqualify. So that means it is the 12th term. Please remember to answer your question. It is the 12th term. So this is problem solving, because now we make use of the information that we know on quadratic number patterns, and then now we solve for missing terms. Okay, so sometimes the term, like you'll be given a statement where you have to use your own letters. So please use different letters for different letters for different terms, unless you are told that maybe the terms, the numbers in each term are equal, then you can use the same letter. Okay, so please do exercise 2, number 5, 6, and 8, and then do the revision exercise only number 3. And then I've given you a hint, just like I said, use variables for missing terms. Right, thank you.